Good morning, students. So today in this video, we'll see the remaining part of the fifth module, that is the different Swing components which can be used to create the graphical user interface. So in this video, we are going to see about the JScrollPan, JTable, then JComboBox, and JList. So these are the four different types of components we can add it to the top level container, that is JFrame, to create the GUI. So we'll see these in detail one by one. So first one is a JScrollPan. So this JScrollPan is a lightweight container that automatically handles the scrolling of another component. The component being scrolled can either be an individual component such as a table or a group of components contained within another lightweight container such as a JPanel. So remember, this JScrollPan is basically used to scroll the area which is not fit within the window, and there is some other extra content available which will not be able to view within that window. So these horizontal scroll and vertical scroll pan will be automatically added so as to view the hidden area or a hidden part of the window. In either case, if the object scrolled is larger than the viewable area, horizontal and or vertical scroll bars are automatically provided. The viewable area of a scroll pan is called as the viewport. It is a window in which the components being scrolled is displayed. The JScrollPan defines several constructors. The one used in this chapter is shown here, that is JScrollPan and the component to which you want to add this horizontal as well as vertical scroll bar. The component to be scrolled is specified by the component. Scroll bars are automatically displayed when the content of the pan exceeds the dimension of the viewport. So here are the steps to follow to use a scroll pan. First, create the component to be scrolled. Then create an instance of a JScrollPan passing to it the object to scroll. Then add the scroll pan to the content pan. So these are the three steps we need to follow. First, we need to add the components to the top level containers. And suppose those are not able to display its content within the viewable area, then this horizontal and a vertical scroll pan are automatically added, and when you scroll it, you will be able to see the exceeded part of the viewport. So to demonstrate the working of this one, first we'll see what exactly the JTable is, and then we'll go for example of JTable and JScrollBar combined in a one. So first we'll see what exactly the JTable is. JTable is a component that displays row and columns of data. You can drag the cursor on column boundaries to resize the columns. You can also drag a column to a new position. JTable has many classes and interfaces associated with it. So these all are available in a javax.swing.table package. So remember, here you can go for adding the table to the JFrame, which is a top level container where you need to provide the column attributes and what the data you want to insert it in form of a row to the table that you need to provide it. So it is a component that consists of one or more columns of information. At the top of each column is a heading, which are nothing but the attributes. Normally, the JTable is wrapped inside a JScrollPan. That's why I told we will see the demonstration of this JScrollPan along with the JTable combined in a one program, because they said that JTable is wrapped inside a JScrollPan. JTable supplies several constructors. The one used here is this, the JTable, which takes two parameters. First one is object, nothing but the row information, and Second one is nothing but a column heads, nothing but the attributes of the table. Here data is a two-dimensional array of the information to be presented, and the column heads is a one-dimensional array with the column headings. Next, this JTable relies on three models. First one is a table model, another is a table column model, and another is a list selection model. A JTable can generate several different types of events. The two most fundamentals to a table's operation are list selection event and table model event. A list selection event is generated when the user selects something in the table. By default, the JTable allows you to select one or more complete rows, but you change this behavior to allow one or more columns or one or more individual cells to be selected by using a table model event. Here are the steps required to set up a simple JTable that can be used to display the data. First, create an instance of a JTable. Then create a JScrollPan object specifying the table as the object to the scroll. Add the table to the scrollpan. Then add the scrollpan to the content pan. So this is what the JTable working. So these are the four steps we need to follow. First, we need to create the object of the or instance of a JTable. Then we need to create the object of a JScrollPan, where the object of a JTable will be passing as a parameter to the object of a JScrollPan. Then add the table to the JScrollPan. Then add the scrollpan to the content pan. So these are the steps we will see while demonstrating. So now we'll go for its demonstration. Now what you do, first you open the notepad. Then already I have defined a file called as a table demo. Okay. First statement of this one is again inclusion of a swing package. As I said, it's a star, nothing but all the classes which are defined in this package will be inserted. The name of the class is the table demo. That should be the name of the file. Then public static void main. Then here first we have created the top level container by using a JFrame. Next, this string data, the first parameter which we are passing to JTable is a data, that is two-dimensional array. So these are the contents or the rows of the table I am inserting it. That is, first is going to have a course ID, then the branch and the university. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 total rows I have added to that table. Then the second parameter which we need to pass it to the JTable is the column heads. So these are the column heads, that is course ID, branch and university. So once you have the data with these two, create an instance of a JTable by using JTable JT equal to new JTable data column comma column. Once you do that one, our next task is to create the object of a JScrollPan. So this is how we are going to create it. JScrollPan JS is equal to new JScrollPan JT. JT is what? The object of the JTable. Then set the bounds for that scrollpan by specifying x and y, that is row and a column value, and what should be the defaults, that is size, height and width. Then add that JScrollPan object to the top level container. Then set default close operation, that is exit on close. Set the window size, layout as null. Set visible. So I'm going to add one more, import java.awt.star. Save this, then open the command prompt. Move to your JDK 14 bin folder, then compile this program javac table demo.java. If any errors are there, it will show the errors. As it has not shown you any error, run this program java table demo. Okay, here this is what a table demo, that is JFrame parameter. We watch what we have passed it. So now this is a table, course ID, branch, university. These are the column heads, and these are the values I have added. I have added 9 rows, but whatever the boundary we have set it for that, it's only this one, so it is unable to show you all content. That's why it has added you the vertical scroll bar. You can see this is called as a vertical scroll bar. If you click on this one and move downward direction, you'll be able to see all the information which are available in that table. So again, you can move it up, you can move it down, move it up, move it down, move it up, move it down. Okay, do like this. So this is what the demonstration of a table demo. Okay. So next one, we will move to the JList. So JList is nothing but the basic list class in Swing is called as a JList. It supports the selection of one or more items from a list. JList provides several constructors. The one which is used here is a JList, and you need to pass the single dimensional array, that is what are the elements you want to add into that list. So this creates a JList that contains the item in the array specified by the items. JList is based on two models. First one is a list model. This interface defines how access to the list data is achieved. Second model is the list selection model interface, which defines methods that determine what list item or items are selected. A JList generates list selection event when the user makes or changes a selection. This listener specifies only one method called as value changed. And the syntax is like this: void value changed list selection event LE, where LE is a reference to the object that generated the event. By default, a JList allows the user to select multiple ranges of items within the list, but you can change this behavior by calling set selection mode, which is defined by JList. Now here is the set selection mode. Here you need to specify the mode. The mode specifies the selection mode. It must be one of these values defined by list selection model, that is single selection, single interval selection, multiple interval selection. So for this mode value, you can pass either of these three values. The index of the first item selected is obtained by calling getSelectedIndex, which is shown as below. Int getSelectedIndex. Indexing, remember, begins at 0. So if the first item is selected, this method will return you 0. If no items are selected, then -1 will be returned to you. The value which is associated with the selection is obtained by calling getSelectedValue. So the syntax is object getSelectedValue. It returns a reference to the first selected value. If no value has been selected, it returns you none. So this is what the JList. Now we will see the demonstration of this JList. So it's a list demo. Now here we have added two packages. One is a java.awt.star, you can say, as we have set the layout as a flow layout. Then another Swing package, list demo, name of the class, main method. First create the top level container by using a JFrame. Then we have created a one string array, which are the items we are going to add it to the list, and in this one we have just entered the color names in that array. So then JList, list is equal to new JList selection. Now this selection is nothing but this list. Then list dot set selected index is a 0. Means whatever the value you will pass it, that value will be defaultly selected. Then add the scroll, that is add this list to the scroll pan. Why? Because the number of color names are more than the specified length of the list. So the scroll pan, vertical scroll pan will be added automatically. Then says set the size for the window, layout to the flow layout. Then set default close operation as exit on close. Then set visible to true. Now what we'll do, we'll run this program. List demo.java list demo. Okay, now here, as I have given the index, selected index as a 0, so it has selected the first color, that is green. Then we have added red, orange, dark blue, pink, purple, white, black. As we have added this list to the scroll pan, so vertical scroll pan is automatically added so as to see the further color names which are added to the list. So this is what the working of a list demo. So next one is the last part, is the J combo box. A combo box normally displays one entry, but it will also display a drop down list that allows the user to select a different entry. The J combo box constructor used by the example is this. We need to add again the array, single dimensional array, sum of the elements to the combo box. Then item is an array that initializes that combo box. Then J combo box uses the combo box model. Mutable combo boxes use the mutable combo box model. Mutable combo box are nothing but those whose entries can be changed. In addition to passing an array of items to be displayed in the drop-down list, items can be dynamically added to the list of choices via the add item method. So the syntax is void add item, pass this list, obj is the object to be added to the combo box. Next, J combo box generates an action event when the user selects an item from the list. J combo box also generates an item event when the state of selection changes, which occurs when an item is selected or deselected. One way to obtain the item selected in the list is to call get selected item on the combo box, and it is shown here. The syntax is return type is object get selected item. This is a method we can use it to obtain the item selected in the combo box. So this is what the demonstration of the combo box. So open the file. The name I have given it, so combo box.java. Okay. Now again we have added, that is two packages. One is a java.awt, javax.swing. The name of the class is a combo box, main method. Then top level container is created first. Then this is a branch. Name of the branches I am going to add it to the combo box. So I have created a one string array entering 5 branch values over there. Then so that I am going to add it to the combo box. Once you add it, set the bond for that, add that combo box to the top level container, set the size, layout as a null, visible. Then one more we need to set f dot set default close operation jframe dot exit on close. Okay, now save this, then run this. Java C combo box dot Java combo box. Now here whatever you are seeing, this is a structure of a combo box which will display you the drop down list. Now when you click on this one, it is going to show you the number of branches which we have added to that list combo box: CSC, ISC, ECE, EEE and mechanical. If you click on this, that branch is going to be selected. Yeah. So this is what the working of a combo box. So this completes your fifth mod of the